Hey, you know, it's a lot of fun to be able to hit a draw from the inside, but I have a lot of sympathy towards people who swing the opposite way. In other words, you're the typical over-the-top slicer. Sometimes you pull it, but usually you get the big banana ball that peels towards the right-hand rough, and then when it lands, it either stops or bounces sideways. You don't get any forward roll. And you know, if you could just learn to get rid of that over the top, be able to drop it to the inside and draw it, you'd get a ton more distance. So right after this, let me give you what I think is the root cause of coming over the top, how you're going to fix it, and it's only going to take about 3 minutes, so stay tuned. All right, I think you're going to see this a lot better from the face-on view. I've got this chair here. You can do the same thing with a patio chair, or you could just use the head covers of your bag. So what I think the root cause of coming over the top is, sure, there can absolutely be an arm lift this way, but I think you could get rid of it altogether by concentrating on the action of the left hip. Let me explain. I've got this chair here to show you what I think is the prototypical hip action of someone who comes over the top. So if I'm here at the top of my swing and everything's looking good so far, if I were to slide a club in right here and I was going to restrict the lateral movement towards the target, but instead of moving down 4 to 6 inches towards the target, as we now know the guys on TV do, but instead I'm simply going to swivel inside this wall here, and you see what that's going to do? It's going to throw my right shoulder high and into the target line, which is the prototypical over-the-topper move. So what has happened here is I've basically kept my spine more upright, and I've thrown my head a little bit targetwards this way, so I can get a little bit of the effect of having some pressure shift or weight shift by leaning my head into it a little bit. So I'm staying inside this electric fence, throwing my head into it a little bit this way. It's sending my arms over the top as a result of the shoulder position this way. And so that's really going to affect not only my horizontal path and cause it to be more outside to in, which is typical of this move, but also is going to typically cause the vertical aspect of your swing plane to get too steep, too vertical. And that's really the biggest culprit in what causes the slice or to leave the face open, is that swing getting too steep, not getting shallow like someone who draws it would get. So let's look at the solution now. The solution would be, instead, let's say I put this thing about 6 inches out in front, it would be to keep my head behind the ball as I shift my hips down the chair a full 6 inches. This gives me a tilt to the spine and a lowering of the right hip and shoulder into this position, which now I'm here, I cannot come over the top with my arms from there. The arms are going to respond to the tilting torso by dropping down towards the hip level rather than coming up above the shoulder. All I'll do then is I'll add a little bit of chest rotation to this bump, and I got myself a really good pivot. All right, let me hit one. I positioned the chair so that we can use it as a grid, and you'll be able to see the lateral hip action. I'm going to point out the tilt of the spine and the dropping of the right hip and shoulder, just like this. So looking back at the slow-mo replay, you can definitely see that I'm attacking towards the target with my left hip. It's causing my spine to tilt, my right hip and shoulder to drop, and it's causing me to drop more shallow into the slot so that I can swing from the inside Square the club up, get the ball to turn over right to left. Now you can work on this move at home in the backyard. You simply have to put the chair about 6 inches from your left hip. Practice with your right arm only, draw back, bump, lift the chair, turn the chest, and throw it through. Close the gap while your head stays back behind the center line. This way. Create the tilt. Unwind around it and release it like crazy. Hey, I hope this got some of you out of that over-the-top pattern. If you do, I hope you'll give this a like and subscribe. I'm Steve. Thanks so much for watching, and as usual, I'll either see you in the next video or I will see you longer and straighter down the fairway. Everybody take good care.